Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you guys how to make a delicious mole de olla. It's basically Mexican beef soup. So in case you guys want to learn how to make this easy and delicious recipe, just stay tuned and I'll show you how. Alright guys, so let's get started with our ingredients. So for this recipe we're going to need 6 pounds of beef shank, 4 Roma tomatoes, 1 1/4 of a white onion, 5 chile ancho, 10 chile guajillos, 12 garlic cloves, 2 beef bouillons, 3 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of oregano, 5 carrots, a half a pound of green beans, 4 small potatoes, 2 chayotes, 2 Mexican squash, 3 whole corns, 1 small bunch of epazote, salt, and pepper. So these are ingredients. Now let's get started. Alright guys, so first we're going to start by seasoning our meat. We're going to add salt and pepper all over the meat. Alrighty, so once we have it ready, we're going to sear our meat. Alright, so in a large frying pan, I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of oil. And we're just going to wait for that to heat up. So once our oil is hot enough, we're going to add our meat. Once it's hot enough, we're going to place our meat. And we're going to leave it in here until it gets brown. We're not going to move it until all of the sides are brown. Alright, so after 4 minutes, we're going to flip it over and do the same to the other side. So just make sure that you get all the sides of our meat. Alright, so once our meat has turned brown all the way around, we're going to place it on a big pot where we're going to be cooking our meat, our soup. And we're going to finish cooking the rest of our meat. Alright, so now that we have all of our meat in a large pot, we're going to add our onion, 6 garlic cloves, our 2 bay leaves, and we're going to fill it up with water. I added 10 cups of water. So just make sure your meat is covered with water. And now we're just going to turn it on medium-high heat. Alright, so now I'm just going to close it and let that cook for an hour. Alright, so while we wait for our meat, we're going to start prepping our vegetables. So I'm just going to get my squash and cut them in half in little moons. Work on our beans. Now you can throw them all like this or just cut them in half. Oh, that one. I'm going to cut mine in half. And for the carrots, just peel them, and let me tell you that somebody lost my peeler, so I'm gonna have to do it with a knife. And just cut it in half. And it's up to you on how big you want to cut them as well. Okay, and for the chayote, I'm going to peel it. This is going to be so hard. The struggle is real here. Oh, who loves my little peeler? And I'm just going to cut them like I did with the squash. And the potatoes, we're just going to peel them as well. And it's up to you if you want to leave them with the peeling. But I'm going to cut them into smaller cubes. So I don't want the peeling. And I love potatoes, so I like to put a lot of potatoes in my caldos, but it's up to you, if you want to put any less. It goes the same with all the vegetables. Okay, so once you have your potato, I'm just going to cut it just like that. Okay, so once we have our vegetables cut, we're going to wash them. And our corn, of course, we're just going to cut it into thirds. So just break it with your hand, like that. Okay, so once we have our corn ready, we're just going to set them to the side. And for my potatoes, I am going to put them in water because we still have a while before we throw them in our soup. So I'm just going to add them in a separate bowl with water. So like that, they don't turn color. Okay. All right, so once we have all of our vegetables nice and ready, we're going to start working on our sauce. All right, so for our chiles, we're just going to depot them and deseed them. And I washed them before doing this, just because we are going to fry them and we want them to be as dry as possible when we throw them in the oil. And just try not to break them, because like I said, we're going to fry them and we want them to be as whole as possible. And of course, if you're sensitive to the chiles, just make sure you wear gloves so that your hands don't get all spicy. Is that even how you say it? Spicy? Your hands don't get spicy? Oh. I guess the right term is so your hands don't get irritated. So for our tomatoes, we're just going to cut them in half. Just like that. Our onion, we're just going to cut it in half. Okay. So now we are ready to start working on our salsa. All right, so on our frying pan at medium-high heat, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of oil. And once that gets hot enough, we're going to add our ingredients. So we're going to add our 6 garlic cloves, our 2 onions. And just be careful because, our tomato. chiles. Now the chiles, you're kind of just gonna wet them in the oil and just move it to the other side. Because otherwise, your chiles are gonna get a bitter taste if you overcook them. I'm just going to remove them and place them in my blender. And I'm just going to add 1 cup of water. And I'm also going to add my epazote. And my 2 beef bouillon. Alright, so now we're just going to blend until we have a very smooth sauce. Okay. So once we have our sauce ready, we're going to fry it. Alright, so using the same frying pan that we used to fry our chiles and tomatoes, we're going to use the same oil, and we're going to strain our sauce in here. And I'm going to add another cup of water into my blender. Technical difficulties. Just mix it. Now we're just going to strain it. Alright, so after we have removed all of our pulp and our sauce, this is what we're left with. So now we're just going to wait for that to come to a simmer. But first we're going to add our oregano. So now we're just going to wait for that to come to a simmer. And it's been 50 minutes, so by the time this comes to a simmer, it will be ready to, we can put this with our caldo. Alright, so once it starts simmering, we're going to turn off our stove and remove it from the heat. So now it's been an hour, so we're going to take a look at our meat. Okay, so our meat has been cooking for an hour. It still needs some time, so at this point, we're going to remove the garlic cloves and the onion. And also, if your meat formed any foam, right now is the time to take it off and remove it. Mine didn't. Just try to remove as much garlic cloves as you see. They usually be floating on the top, but they be hiding right now. Alright, so now we're going to add our sauce. Just mix it. So now we're just going to mix it around. And we're going to check our meat. And it's almost done. So now we're also going to add our corn. And we're going to cook that for another 30 minutes. So now I'm just going to close it and we'll be back in 30 minutes. All right guys, so it's been 30 minutes since we added our corn and our sauce. So now I'm just going to add the carrots. Just gonna try to mix it in there. And then at this point, you can check it for salt, and, you know, and see if it needs any more flavor. But to be honest, to me, it's perfect. So I don't think you will need to add anything else. But, you know, of course, adjust it to your liking. So now I'm just going to let that cook for 5 minutes, and then we can add the rest of our veggies. Alright, so after 5 minutes, we're going to add the rest of our vegetables. And at this point, your meat should be about done. So now we're just going to finish cooking the vegetables. And my potatoes, where are we gonna fit them? All right, so once all of our vegetables are in here, I'm going to add a little bit more water, just enough to cover my vegetables. So that's about 4 cups. Smells so good. And like the meat should be about done. Okay. So now I'm just going to cover it and let that come to a simmer and let that cook for 15 more minutes or until all of our vegetables are fully cooked. And after that, that's basically it for our mole de olla. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. At 15 minutes, my potatoes were still a little bit hard. So by now, they should be fully cooked. So see, they're good. You don't want them to be like super soft. Otherwise, you know, when you serve your mole, like the potato will be completely smushy. So we don't want that. So right now, it's perfectly fine. Everything is cooked, everything's soft, and it smells delicious. So now our mole de olla is ready to be served, or you can let it cool down for a few minutes. But this is basically it. Alright guys, so this is how I like to serve it. Avocado and serrano peppers, and of course some lime juice. And the tortillas. And my mouth is super watery now. We are ready to enjoy this delicious mole de olla. Alrighty guys, and now for the best part.
The taste test.
Yes, so we are ready. Ready? Okay, cheers. It just hits the spot. The combination of everything, it's perfect. Perfect for this weather. What happened? Is it spicy?
No.
No?
This.
It's not spicy,
No,
so I think it's perfect, you know, for your kids to enjoy it as well. And of course, we're just missing the soda. But we are ready. You want to go sit down and enjoy it? He loves carnita. And this is basically like a caldo de res, you know, just with the sauce, the chile sauce. But it's super delicious. Yes, we are ready. Alright Alrighty guys, and there you have it, super easy and delicious mole de olla. I hope you guys had enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and if you recreate this recipe, please don't forget to tag me on any of my social medias, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button so you guys can be part of our family. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, no, no. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel, tú tienes el piquete. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Eres perfecta.